Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of I Can Do. This is Benjamin Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We are picking back up on my book, Life Beyond the Scale. If you'd like to get a paperback copy of this book, you can go to Amazon.com. You can also find the link on my website, benjaminlee.blog. And I'd love for you to purchase the book if you like. There is a journal in the back of the book that I'm not going to go through here. I'm just reading the chapters to you. So if you do purchase it, please let me know. Leave me a review. I would love to hear from you. So today we are in chapter 10. Here we go. Chapter 10, the motivator is in the house. I was talking to my mom on the phone, and I told her that the motivator was here. Those were the words of one of the employees at my local gym. This woman said to me on Sunday, May 14th, 2017. I was leaving the gym. I had a great session of high interval intensity training, or HIIT training, on the treadmill. As I was leaving the gym, I said goodbye to the person who was working there. She asked me how my workout was. I responded by saying it was good. I told her I like to have fun with my workouts. I felt compelled to say that because that morning and pretty much every other time I work out, I'm the weird guy at the gym yelling and screaming while exercising. What's even scarier is when I sing while I run, and you do not want to hear that, all right? It's not a good thing to hear, but she said something which stuck with me. She said, I was talking to my mom on the phone. She lives in Alabama. I told her the motivator was here. At first, I didn't know what she was talking about until I realized she was talking about me. Wow, what a compliment. This wasn't the only time I heard something like this. The week before, there was a couple at the gym running on the treadmills next to me. I was doing the same thing as I do every workout. You know, in hindsight, as I read this and listen to this, maybe this wasn't a good idea with screaming and all that kind of stuff, but I do really get into it. Anyway, back to the story, all right? So this couple was running next to me during one of my workouts. I was sweaty, loud, and fired up. I always wonder what people think of me when I'm yelling and screaming. I'm pretty sure some of them are laughing at me, but who cares, right? I knew what the couple was thinking because they told me. The woman told me, keep going. What are you doing and saying? What you are doing and saying is motivating us. Again, I was shocked. Something was being confirmed to me. I can motivate and inspire others. I'm not trying to sound cocky here. For a while, this was something I didn't necessarily accept. But the more I reflect and consider all that has happened, I've come to embrace the fact I can motivate others. One of the great benefits of the fitness journey I was on was how I was losing weight and getting stronger. My confidence was increasing. I believed the more I would be successful. I believed more I would be successful. It was happening right before my eyes. Yet something else was beginning to emerge. I started to fall in love with writing. I make no claims of being some prolific author or writer, but I've been writing for a long time. As a preacher, I've been writing sermons for almost a decade. Now that's 13 years. I'm writing sermons, short blogs, or workbooks. I believe all of the writing has helped me to get to this point now, and I didn't even know it. This is another reason why I love the early morning hours, because it allows me the opportunity to write. The exercise I was also doing was unleashing so many ideas and thoughts I didn't know I had. During my transformation beginning back in August of 2016 was when I really started to enjoy writing. Many of the ideas of this book that I'm reading to you now occurred during those days. In 2017, I joined another group called Blast, B-L-A-S-T, by Shannon Etheridge. Blast stands for Building Leaders, Authors, Speakers, and Teachers. Shannon gave me a great deal of motivation to begin my blog and eventually a website. She continues to be a great source of encouragement and support. As a result of my transformation and taking this writing course, I began creating. I began first by writing a short book about my father called Live and Learn, or Learn and Live. A short book for young boys without fathers. And that's also available on Amazon. Then I created my first coloring book. I got the idea of a coloring book from listening to a former student that was part of the Blast program. I really liked her book as well. She had created a coloring book, and I'd never really been into coloring books, but the concept of creating one was interesting. And I wondered if I could and would do the same. And if I was going to create a book, what would it look like? It had to be something connected to my life. Then it hit me. I had been journaling for months. I had been writing out motivational phrases to myself over and over. I didn't think people would want to do the same, and where I would write out the same phrase 20 or 30 times every morning. But what if they could color these motivational phrases? What if I created a coloring book full of motivational thoughts from A to Z? Well, that's what I did. I got the A to Z idea from my preacher back in Rockford, Illinois. He would use ABCs in his sermons sometimes to make a point. I loved them. I began to do the same thing when I was in Columbia, Missouri. I don't know if the brethren loved it, but I did. And this is where the idea for my first coloring book came from. During this time, I read a book by a man named James Altucher called Choose Yourself. I learned in this book about CreateSpace, and this is a website affiliated with Amazon. It allows people to publish books, and now it's just Amazon Kindle Publishing. So I created my first coloring book, and it was called Color Your Way to Success. It was fun putting it together. I was nervous about what others would say, but who cares, right? I couldn't let fear hold me back. So I wrote it. Guess what? People bought it and they liked it. Seeing success from that book, I decided to create another one. And this coloring book was also personal. I called it Color Your Way Through Chemo. My motivation for this came from seeing what my wife experienced. This was another coloring book that goes from A to Z and is filled with motivational phrases for those who have to take chemo. It's designed to give them strength as they battle through a tough condition. Well, now I couldn't stop creating. I made a chemo coloring book for kids, which goes from A to Z, but is a mixture of motivational phrases and animals. Then I created a fourth book called Color Your Way to Releasing the Weight. The same concept, except I added more thoughts as you color. I then shifted and created a motivational journal called Faith, Family, Fitness, and Food, a 31-day motivational journal. I learned the importance of journaling during my transformation. I wanted to create a journal that would complement what I was already doing in my morning routine. So I did. And this journal has 31 days of motivational thoughts from me, a place for one to write out their prayers, a place to make a gratitude list, space to write out what you're going to eat and actually did eat for that day, what you did with your nutrition, and a motivational thought to write to yourself. And finally, a place to write down what you're going to do for exercise. As I write this, I've noticed that I haven't even told you how much weight I lost. It's because when it comes to genuinely transforming our lives, it's not about the scale. It's about the journey. It's about the belief and the relationships and changing others for good. I did, however, experience a change on the scale. I released 20 pounds in those first 12 weeks. Yes, that's success, victorious. From November 20th to December 29th, I released an additional 6 pounds. I was really happy about that. Never in my life had I released weight during Thanksgiving and Christmas. That just doesn't happen. But it did for me. During the holiday season of 2017, I was able to wear all of my clothes, including the brown suit. Yes, releasing the weight is possible. It's possible to keep the weight off. You can do it, but it will require that you go beyond the scale. I've learned that I'm able to motivate others, and I'm also able to motivate myself. And we have to be able to motivate others. In this physical and spiritual journey, there will be times when you'll have to travel alone. And so we have to be able to motivate ourselves as well. You will not always have others cheering you on. In fact, you will outgrow others with respect to accomplishments, mindset, and determination. The same motivation people gave you 1 year may no longer be the motivation you need to get to the next level. You will have to continue to go beyond the scale. You will have to go beyond your past success. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. If you are in the need or looking for more motivation in your life, feel free to check out my website, benjaminlee.blog, where you can find hundreds of encouraging, motivational blog posts on a variety of subjects. You can find all of my books, which can also be found on Amazon.com, and other podcast interviews with a variety of people. I hope this helps. Please leave me a rating and a review. I can do, and so can you. Take care, and God bless.